Fight by Night is lacking in interaction between the survivors and the killers, from the lack of mechanics in the game to how the game recommends you to not even interact with the killer. Sometimes it's just how the game is structured, other times it's because people play this game like an actual FNAF game. Y'all know who I'm talking about when I say that. I've seen a bit on YouTube, but I haven't seen many people go into detail on how flawed and how lackluster being in Chase is in Fight by Night if you're not holding a cursor in the middle of your screen to hold the door closed. So I'll be talking about that. You're gonna yap and yap about this game because it does a lot wrong and a lot right at the same time, and I just gotta get something out about it. This is probably gonna be the longest video I've ever made because I have a 9-page script somehow when I wrote this. Okay, enough data-daddling. Let me get into the video. Recently, killers in Fight by Night were given a change to their DSD. Instead of getting DSD from landing any move that does damage and keeping it for 14 seconds, you now gradually get DSD in Chase and lose it out of Chase, or when you're landing an M1 you lose 20% specifically. Giving the killer the change they didn't really need, to be honest. Killers needed a change to the DSD, but not this kind of change. This is actually worse than the original in my opinion. This change practically makes every killer the worst darn archetype, no matter what. As long as they're in Chase, they will get stronger and get more DSD. Let me give a few examples on how strong these killers are now with this new DSD system, especially the Mimic. For the Mimic, you can just stay on Tickle Time or use Dig to gradually get DSD, because apparently you can still gain DSD in Dig, and Tickle Time is just Tickle Time. And then once you get the best DSD, you can just swap to Strength and just bulldoze them because they're not losing you. And Strength is Raw Strength mode. It has the highest M1 damage in the entire game. For Ennard, he probably had got the most affected by DSD. You just do your usual trapping and use your disguise the most, because apparently when you're in disguise you have 100 stamina, right? But you also keep the DSD and you gradually gain it in Chase. So you, no matter what, you're gonna get stabbed unless you juke the killer, which is unrealistic. And for Springtrap, well, he's Springtrap. He's the default killer. Springtrap is not really any different from how he played, but he's now strong to the point where you don't even gotta use your straps as much or at all. There is no benefit to swapping targets at all with this new DSD system. It actually rewards tunneling. And I'm sure I don't need to explain on how that's a problem. So I'll just go to the other half of this segment, the survivors. So, you may be thinking, how do the survivors get around this DSD problem? They don't. Well, they kinda do, but it's kinda really hard to, unless you have a good team, which you won't in pubs. Who does actually? Actually, if you get good lobbies in pubs, what kind of lobbies you in? I need them too. Looking at the survivor side with the new DSD system, a lot was overlooked. I mean like a lot. Like around 3 problems. If you haven't noticed yet, closing doors or stunning the killer does not remove DSD, or it doesn't even halt it either. The only actual way to make the killer lose DSD is to get out of Chase, which most likely isn't happening. The only actual consistent way of the killer you losing DSD is when you, as a player, are losing it at the game by taking damage. Each M1 they do reduces the DSD by 20%. And considering the killers in this game literally 3 to 4, maybe 5 tap you, it's not worth it taking that damage. I'm not saying it's impossible to win as Survivor, but it's extremely hard. But hey, there's at least one counter to this DSD. It's teamwork. What's that? You don't got teamwork? Yeah, it's cooked, it's over. You're actually dying. Back in the lobby. Kinda timing. DSD somehow isn't removed in the most obvious scenarios. For example, when you're barricading a door, when Mimics in Dig mode near you, when it is in a disguise form. This could be easily solved by just nerfing DSD to the point where it's not used for certain scenarios when I just listed. Oh yeah, apparently for Springtrap, if you have DSD and you land your axe throw, you don't lose any. So not only is the survivor slowed, but you also have your max DSD if you're at that moment. And they're pretty much dead if no other teammates there to save you. Which they won't be because of these lobbies I'm in. Like, come on. But hey, there's more ways survivors can survive other than, using doors. Now I know I say this video is about the interactions with the killer and survivor and how to make it more interesting. I'm gonna talk about that. It's just the fact that this DSD system makes the game and breaks it too. But let's talk about the survivor kits. They're pretty important for making the team survive in the first place, no? Yeah. Medic, fighter, technician, customer, and security guard. All kits in the game. 2 of them are ass and the others are the best of the best, to be honest. I'm going to give a brief description on how these roles are and what I think of them. Medic is so strong that you want to prioritize your life, not because you can heal others, but because you can heal yourself. Fighter is terrible due to the fact that you need to get near a killer, with DSD by the way, to be useful. That's kinda bad when, due to how DSD works, you want to avoid the killer entirely. And well, counter is counter. It's just bad fundamentally in these kind of games. And like, you can't even do that on Springtrap. He has like a frame 1 swing. Good luck. This kit is terrible. Moving on, we have Technician. This kit is so map dependent and its disruptors only last for like 20 seconds. Why go this character when we can just go security guard? It's better in every way. Customer is customer. You don't really have to explain much about it. It's definition of selfish. And finally we have security guard. I say this kit is the best out of Chase because of all the information you can gather from the cameras, and then the taser being even better than the spider's own stun somehow. Now with these kits, you assume you meant to use them to help your team survive, right? Not just you. You'd be wrong. People don't want to be chased. People don't want to be near the killer. That's why people don't help their teammates, or they're scared. I can see why you wouldn't want to save your team when you consider the new DSD, but when you consider the old one, or not even DSD at all, then it's a whole different story. And I don't mean always a different story that you can actually help your team now. It's a different story in showing how selfish the kits actually are. Unless you're a fighter, but his kit is naturally flawed due to the fact that he's 100% reliant on a counter. But for the other kits, they suggest you stay out of chase. From using the Vanity mask before the chase even starts to get out of there, to using the tabs on the security guard to keep eyes on the killer at a safe distance. Let me give you a line or 2 quotes I thought of when comparing these kits and how useful they can be for helping the team and how people decide to use them. Almost each survivor role has a move that suggests, hey, I get this move to prevent the killer from getting near me. They don't have any move, or at least people don't think of the move as, hey, I get this move to protect my teammates. And I get that because sometimes the risk reward isn't worth it. It really isn't. But the best survivor in my opinion, if you had to ask, is security guard. You just gotta have a brain with them. You got a stun, you got information, and then you literally have a scan, a global scan at that for everyone on your team. He's literally a flex if you think about it, and he does the fighter role better than the fighter. Who would have guessed? I hate fighter. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. What better way to consider or talk about survivor and killer interaction than using doors, the main mechanic of the game?
Yada yada, everybody knows how the doors work. You gotta close them, keep your cursor in the middle, and prevent the killer from getting on the other side by hitting when they hit it. Yeah? Okay, cool. I got 2 ideas on how to improve on this. Now, how it is at the moment is okay. There's nothing much to say about it. It's unique as in the idea, but it's implemented kind of basic, you know? Like, it's cool that the survivor has to barricade, but why can't the killer do something, you know? Oh, and the ideas I have are just ideas. They're not perfect. They're definitely unthought through when considering the balancing of the game. They're more of just food for thought. Talking about how to make the doors more engaging is my first idea.
Once a killer gets near a door, the survivor is barricaded and decides to hit it. They are both stuck in a minigame, one of them until they are complete specifically. While the survivor stays the same, the killer will have to quickly drag their mouse to a specific circle in a box, similar to how the survivor has to drag their cursor into the circle when blocking the door. But instead, if the killer successfully does this, the ammo will be stronger. It's alright. I think my second idea is better.
Let me hit you with it.
This idea doesn't directly change anything on how the original mechanic works, but adds a new one to the door.
When a killer is chasing a survivor and presses the same button a survivor would press to barricade the door before it fully closes, both the killer and the survivor will be put in a rhythm or mash battle, where the most accurate timing on the most mashed side results in the other side being pushed away from the door, though failing as a survivor would cause the door to be forced open, though failing as a survivor would also make the door lose one of its barricades. And if the survivor wins, then the animatronic or the killer is pushed back and is back to being fully clothed like usual. I think this idea is way better and way more unique than the first one I had, just because it adds something entirely new, and that's kind of what we need in this game. Though it is still in beta, so I won't give it too much hate. Other than doors, I have another part to talk about. It isn't as long as the other segments was, but it's just mechanics other than doors. Like it's involved doors, but not the doors you barricade, if that makes sense. The doors from FNAF 1, the doors in the pizzeria. These doors is the most bare bones thing you could add it for a mechanic in a pizzeria. Or like in this game, actually.
Why not add the phantom from FNAF 3? Or maybe the arcade games
From FNAF 6, you know? I don't really have that many ideas for this section because I didn't think it through as much. And I was tired, and I am tired now. So yeah, that's kind of it for the video. I made a whole 7-page essay or script for this video, and I think it's okay. I could do better.
To sum up everything, the game needs to stand out more. It has so much more reference material, but it doesn't use it. But before they decide to do any of that, add any more concepts, any more ideas, any more maps, they need to fix this goddamn DSD system. Okay, bye.